Thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you for all those that took the time. I know this is a holiday to join to really discuss the concept of why talent isn't the barrier and it is misalignment. So I have coined a trifecta reset, which hinges on three very important key elements, and that is your mindset, your language, and your action. And I truly believe that in order to live the life and have the momentum and all the success that you want to have, those three things need to really be aligned. And you don't need another course. You don't need to, get another degree. Once you can align those things and really get in alignment with who you're becoming, then the rest is really left for you to experience. So I want to accomplish three things today. I want to challenge that idea and the belief that what's holding you back is your talent or a skill or a course. I also want to create a moment of self-awareness and self-discovery. So I want to invite you into this gateway to growth, which is self-discovery. And then I want to leave you with the trifecta reset. And this is a framework that can truly help you today with aligning with who you're becoming. So, would you believe me if I tell you that the results of your life and the skills, it's really not your competency, it's not, your talent even. It's not even really your intention because we all have great intention. All of it really is reflected from the patterns that you've learned that is shaping the way you're thinking, the words that you're using, and the action or lack thereof that you're exhibiting. The issue here isn't capability. It's not, are you capable? It is, how are you wired and how is that wiring driving the things that you're doing? Um, life life is a very funny thing. And what I've learned is we're all conditioned. And conditioning isn't a bad word, right? Some people call it condition, other people may call it rearing, how you were raised. Um, but from birth, we were shaped, right? We were given an identity, we're given a name, but we were all born with one essential fact, one essential key, and that is the ability to learn. And that ability to learn is what really shapes the inherent ability to experience. Life doesn't happen to you. It really truly happens for you, right? It happens for you to have an exponential experience of love, of loss, of grief, of persistence, of joy, of disappointment, right? All of this is a part of living, but growth is what truly shapes something deeper within you. And it's the experiences that you go through that shapes that thing that's within you. And so strength is rarely, I haven't experienced it, right? Strength is rarely, it rarely happens just because you have good intentions. Strength happens right as you are tapping up against discomfort, right? And on the other side of that discomfort is where your growth lies. So strength reveals that what you're carrying, what you're overcoming, or who you're choosing to become is happening in that moment. And so today's discussion about this idea and this concept that your results is not an indication or a direct result of reflection of your talent, and it's more so misalignment, is all based on patterns, right? And it's the patterns in your wiring and that then transition into how you show up in life. And those patterns stems from your family systems and their beliefs and what they instilled into you, your cultural compass, if you will, what was celebrated, what was shown or discussed as failure, right? And anybody that knows me knows that failure and fail doesn't truly exist. It's something that you were taught because fail is an acronym for first, attempt, and learning. And if you truly look at each experience isolated independently as an opportunity to learn and grow, then you no longer will experience anything such as failure because it wouldn't exist. And everything that you do would be in alignment to becoming who you are and not who fear told you to be, right? Or not who society has told you to be. Um, the thoughts that are festered in your mind, because your mindset truly is the gateway to self-discovery. Everything that you are and everything that you is hinge on what you're feeding. What is the story that you're telling yourself? So the question that I have asked people, and this is very intrusive, so forgive me, if I were to develop the talent to go into your mind for a week, just to sit there and observe to see what's happening, would I identify the person that you told me you are or you're becoming? Would that be the thoughts that I see and that I hear? Or are you telling yourself something else, but then you're speaking something different into reality in hopes that it would shift where you are? Well, that's not going to happen because hope is not a strategy, right? You have to be intentionally aligned with who you are becoming because remember, I said at birth, you came out with the ability to learn, and that ability to learn gave you two things. You're an observer and you're observing. So you're absorbing everything that's in your environment as you're observing what's around you. So you're soaking it all in as like a sponge, forgetting who you are. So what you have been taught frames you to where you are, and then it kind of guides you through your life. But then you get to a point where it no longer serves you, and then you have this friction. So as you're experiencing that friction, that's when you realize that the conditioning that you've been exposed to is no longer serving you. It served you for a while, and that's okay. You give gratitude to it and you thank it, but now you have to develop a new way of thinking. But how do you do that? You do that through the trifecta reset. And so that's why we're here to have sustainable change happens through, it doesn't just happen through motivation and good intentions alone. You have to transform by really aligning your mindset with your words and your action. Okay. And again, the master key to all of this is your thinking. What are you feeding yourself? What are those thoughts that are running through your mind? What are you tolerating in your head? Is the story aligning with who you're becoming? Because mindset with thoughts that you're tolerating daily, it's going to shape the words that you say. So if you think you're a failure, you're going to say things like, I can't do that. I'm going to wait to do that. Or, oh, I can't do that because so and so is going to see this or they're going to see that. Or, oh, they think I'm an imposter because I don't have the credential. That's where you're going back and you're getting that degree or you're getting that certificate. But really and truly, what you really need to do is to really identify what is it that I want, right? So I like to ask people two questions. And when I ask these questions, it will reveal what's happening in your mind. And those two questions are, who are you? So when I ask that question, I tend to get, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a mother, get these titles, but that's not who you are. That's who you are to someone else. Who are you? So I challenge you to sit with that question. The next question is, what do you want? And I'm not asking for the answer that you give to the public. I'm not asking you to tell me something that will make me say, "Oh, that person sounds really nice and really great and they're doing phenomenal things." I'm asking you to sit with the question because it's in sitting with it that you're able to identify, are you feeding yourself beliefs that you truly believe or beliefs that you inherited that no longer serves you, and you're trying to find a way to still honor them while becoming who you're becoming. Well, the person that you are over here requires you to do something very different than what you've done 10 years ago. And if you compare yourself and you look and you examine and you sit with those mental um, baggage, if you will, and you ask yourself, is this something that is going to guide me towards the woman or the man that I'm becoming? And if the answer is no, then you have some work to do. So if someone listened again to that internal dialogue for 1 week, just 1 week. In fact, I challenge you to listen to that internal dialogue. Do not condemn it. Do not criticize it. Don't challenge or question it because it is what it is right now. Your goal and your job is to first, with the trifecta reset, as I mentioned, is mindset, language, and action. But a couple things happen as you're enduring and going through that process. First, there's awareness. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm a John Maxwell certified coach, public speaker, and trainer. And in the John Maxwell way, we've been taught that in order to grow yourself, you must know yourself. Awareness is where that starts, right? What do you know about yourself? How are you going to get to really understand who you are, right? From awareness, then you need to move to alignment, right? How do you then, now that you know the information, because awareness alone is just good insight. And insight does nothing for growth or progress or change, right? So, what are you going to do with the information that you've learned? Now you need to move into that zone of alignment. And alignment is where you start to implement frameworks like the trifecta resets and other components to help to get you from point A to point B so you can become the truest essence of who you are. And remember, discomfort is not a warning sign. It's discomfort is evident that growth has begun, right? And John Maxwell, there's 15 invaluable laws of growth. And one of those laws, the 10th law, is the rubber band. And the rubber band law suggests that when a rubber band is just sitting, it's in its comfort zone, right? You're comfortable. That's a place of security, right? It's a place of peace. But that does not provide you with growth. If you're trying to get to the ultimate man or woman that you are, there needs to be tension. So that rubber band needs to be stretched. And as you're stretching that rubber band, that's the discomfort that you're enduring. Now, I also like to tell people that life comes with challenges and difficulties, right? People say life is tough. And I said, you know what? It can be. But there's two types of tough, right? There's the tough or the hard of not doing anything and not having change and not having momentum. And then there's the tough and the hard when you're going through that discomfort and you're getting to the other side of that discomfort where the ultimate truest version of yourself lies and sits, where it's fearless clarity, undeniable purpose, a confidence that is so grounded, it's not asking anybody for permission but self, right? And it's and in that space of asking yourself for permission, it's a very different ask. It's not a ask and wait for a response. It's a I'm giving myself permission to do this and I'm giving myself permission to do it now, right? 20 when I was 22, the book that took me on this journey of wanting to leave a legacy of light and love on everybody that I come in touch with is The Power of Now. And The Power of Now simply states that right now is the only moment that exists, right? But most of us live for tomorrow. We want to plan for tomorrow. We want to accomplish tomorrow, but we're not maximizing the space and the phase that we're in right now. And it's in honoring what we have right now, identifying where we are, that we're able to propel ourselves into that space of ultimate potential and growth. Now, there is one hidden formula amongst all of this, right? And that is this idea of fear. Because, ooh, baby, fear will creep in the moment you decide this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. Fear becomes an invisible architect of limitation. And what does that look like? Fear will shape your thoughts, right? Fear will be the thing that says you can't do it. Fear, excuse me, would be the thing that says they're going to see through you. You're going to fail. Fear is going to be the thing that says, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. It's going to be the thing that says I need another course because I'm not quite ready. And fear shapes your thoughts. Those thoughts are influence your beliefs. And your beliefs, again, your beliefs, that's what drives your action. So the reality that you're seeing and that you're living in, it all starts here, right? Because you decided to believe a thought that may not have been true, but it was stemmed out of fear. And that fear developed a thought in your mind that you then articulated as, okay, I'm going to wait. Wait, I'm going to take another class. It's disguised as productivity to make you feel like you have some momentum. Like I'm not just sitting idle, I'm actually doing something to drive growth here. So I'm not going to allow the fear to stop me. I'm going to study, I'm going to strategize, I'm going to perfect, I'm going to take another course. Sounds familiar? Well, that's not going to get you where you want to go because it's still stemming from a place of scarcity. So you have a scarcity mindset. And what that will do is it would allow you to fight for your mediocrity. So I encourage you to be bold, be brave, but more importantly, be you. Be you, be the you that you are becoming today. And if the you that you are becoming is fearless, is ambitious, is a go getter, be that person today. What characteristics does that person need to display today so that he or she can live into who you're becoming? This is not the time to wait. It's not the time to wait. The time to act is now. And so I've worked with professionals, I've worked with leaders, students, emerging change makers. And what I've learned, the one thing that have been consistent is that most people are not lacking potential. They're not lacking skills and capacity and capability and all the great things that make them a great person. They're not lacking that. They are carrying patterns that are no longer serving to the version of themselves that they're becoming. So the goal is not to become someone else or someone new. The goal is to return to who you were before fear, right? Before the labels, before the titles, before limiting beliefs became your truth. Let me repeat that. The goal is to not to change or become a new person because you are who you are. You're an evolving being, right? You're a being with the ability to learn and grow and have this human experience that comprises of all sorts of things, as I mentioned, fear, love, hope, joy, right? But as you're doing that, how do you remove the limitation to become the truest essence of who you are? So the trifecta reset is the way to do that. So I invite you into the trifecta experience, where it would allow you to examine your thoughts, refine your words, and align with the truest version of who you're becoming. Because the next version of you is not waiting on the next degree or the talent that you're going to acquire. The next version of you is waiting on a mental rewiring so that the thoughts that are happening behind your eyes are in alignment with the version of yourself that you are not only wanting to become, but you are embracing right now. So again, I ask you to master your thoughts, transform your words, and take intentional, aligned actions that are in alignment with who you're becoming. And if today's discussion and the topics that I've talked on or that I've touched on resonated with you in any way, and you feel like, this might be dancing around something that I've experienced or that I know, I invite you to discover what is truly shaping your confidence, your communication, your execution. And I invite you to begin with the trifecta assessment, which really helps to identify Where are you? Is it mindset? Is it language? Is it your action? Do you need to be more disciplined? Right? Do you first need to shift what you're thinking because it's not in alignment with where you want to be? Or do you need to join a learning lab so you can experience that you're not alone, right? This thing called the journey of life, it's one that's so paramount and so beautiful that we all are on a different journey, but we all have similar experiences. And you can be in a room with like-minded people to share and discuss what that look like so that together you can identify a path that works for you. So join the learning lab, experience the trifecta reset, because the next level of alignment may be one decision away. The version of you is waiting on you to make a decision right now, today, so that you can become the truest essence of who you are. So join me in the trifecta reset experience. Thank you.